Good evening and welcome to Emirates News broadcasting from Dubai. I'm Katie Jensen. Here are the headlines tonight. The public have been urged to renew their visas and Emirates IDs online instead of in person due to COVID-19. The Abu Dhabi Fund for Development allows countries badly affected by the global health crisis to delay their debt service repayments. In the business tonight, the Minister of State for Advanced Technology says the UAE's historic Mars mission, which lifts off late tomorrow night, will inspire companies of all sizes to take risks. And in the sport, Abu Dhabi-owned Manchester City will play in the Champions League next season after the European ban is overturned. Around 400 new COVID-19 cases have been reported in the UAE after 50,000 new tests took place in recent days. This brings the total number of cases here to 54,854. Another 2 people have died, with the death toll now standing at 333. 492 people have now fully recovered from the virus, bringing the total number of recoveries to 45,140. Taking a look at the global picture now, and there are more than 12.8 million confirmed cases around the world. The Johns Hopkins University tracker, which relies on official government figures, shows that more than 12.8 million cases were recorded worldwide early today, and that there are more than 568,000 deaths. It comes as the World Health Organization reports another record increase in the number of new reported cases in a 24-hour period at more than 230,000. The US has once again topped the global list, reporting more than 60,000 new cases on Sunday and taking their total cases to 3.4 million and over 137,000 deaths. Brazil has the second highest number of cases with 1.86 million cases and more than 72,000 deaths, followed by India, Russia and Peru. The largest increases in cases overnight have been from the US, Brazil, India and South Africa. COVID-19 could potentially reinfect people every year, much like the common cold. That's according to new research suggesting immunity to the virus may only last a matter of months. Scientists at King's College London have analysed the immune response in more than 90 healthcare workers and patients to examine the strength of viral antibodies. The results suggest that once a vaccine is found, regular boosters may be required to protect against the virus in the future. Results from the study show that peak immunity to COVID-19 occurred about 3 weeks after the onset of symptoms before a steep decline. The UAE's Dubai Parks and Resorts Field Hospital discharged its final coronavirus patient earlier today. The temporary health facility is now patient-free and will close its doors but remain on standby. The last patient exited the 1,200-bed clinic earlier and was waved off to the cheers of more than 130 doctors, nurses and volunteers. The hospital was one of several temporary facilities built to help manage patient flow in the city when the virus was at its peak. Residents and UAE nationals have been advised to renew their expired visas and Emirates IDs online instead of in person during the global health crisis. The announcement comes after citizens and residents were informed on Sunday that a 3-month grace period for expired documents would be given instead of the full year as previously announced. Those whose documents expired back in March or April this year must renew their documents immediately. Citizens, GCC nationals and residents who spent less than 6 months outside the UAE will be given a 1-month grace period for renewal starting from the date of their arrival back in the country. The Abu Dhabi Fund for Development will allow countries badly affected by the global health crisis to delay their debt service repayments this year. It comes after several governments reportedly asked the fund for a delay in repaying the debt given the global pandemic, and means that both payment instalments and interest will be on hold for the full year. The ADFD released a statement this week saying that it is imperative for the UAE to support those in need during the health pandemic to help them weather the economic fallout of the crisis. They say the decision is in line with the UAE government's work to support the G20 plan with the World Bank to help developing nations meet their financing needs. The UAE government provided more than 7.4 billion dirhams in financial aid and social benefits to UAE citizens in 2019. That's according to the Ministry of Finance, who says it was an increase of 2% compared to the year before. The government aid included direct cash support, social care, marriage grants, price discounts, as well as aid for people of determination and senior citizens. That was in addition to support provided through the Ministry of Community Development. These benefits accounted for more than 13% of total federal government expenses last year. The Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque is expected to reopen in 2 weeks as COVID-19 recovery rates continue to improve across the country. One of the UAE's most popular attractions has been closed for exactly 4 months as authorities try to bring the spread of the virus under control. Abu Dhabi's Department of Culture and Tourism has told media this week that they are planning for the Grand Mosque to reopen before the end of the month, in line with other major attractions in the capital. The news comes after public and private beaches, hotels and museums have reopened to visitors in Abu Dhabi. More than 6.5 million people visited the Grand Mosque during 2019's Year of Tolerance, with more than 4 million of those tourists. Pedestrian fatalities have decreased by more than 3/4 between 2007 and 2019 in Dubai. That's according to the Roads and Transport Authority, which clarified that pedestrian-related accidents dropped from 9.5 cases per 100,000 people in 2007 to 0.6 cases per 100,000 in 2019. This comes after the number of footbridges in the Emirates went from 13 back in 2006 to 116 bridges this year. The ITA also plans to build another 34 footbridges between 2021 and 2026, bringing the total number of pedestrian bridges to 150. Tomorrow, the UAE will make history by becoming the first Arab mission to launch a spacecraft to Mars. The UAE Hope probe is scheduled to blast off from Japan at 12:51 a.m. UAE time tomorrow night, beginning its 495 million kilometre journey to the Red Planet. It will be the first time that scientists have had the chance to collect a complete picture of the Martian atmosphere. And the information it collects will be shared with more than 200 research centres around the world. Joining us now via phone to explain why tomorrow's launch is so important is Mohammed Al-Hami, Senior Director of Corporate Development at the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Centre. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, it is certainly a momentous occasion. I think something that future generations are going to remember. The ambitions that the UAE has to fulfill are certainly on high focus in the next couple of days. Why is this so important?
Of course, getting to the space sector is something unique, I would say, in a way. In the UAE, basically in Dubai at Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center, we focus a lot on the knowledge transfer program. So this is how our program started. And we focus a lot on Emiratization also in the center. So why is this so important to us? Because usually knowledge, you can buy a piece of phone and you don't know what's in it, or some parts of electronics or plug-ins or plug-outs. So what our aim is not to do that. Our aim is to get the full knowledge and make sure we develop technologies in the country at the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center. Going to Mars is one of our pioneer projects at the center. Of course, we started this in 2014, and from there we've reached launch day. And credit due to the engineers and to the people working and to the engineers and scientists working on this project. Usually this project takes up to 10 years, but we squeezed it up to 6 to 7 years from detailed design review all the way to the launch hopefully tomorrow. So we're very excited about it, and we're looking forward for the launch tomorrow. How will this affect the future generations? Of course, going to Mars is not just a mission, okay, we're sending a probe to Mars to study the Martian atmosphere. There will be a lot of data collected from the Hope probe that will be distributed, as you said earlier, to over 200 research centers. Of course, on those research centers, there'll be a lot of youth, and there'll be a lot of studies that will even open gates for new developments, new innovation, even new careers for individuals all around the world.
We can see some of the behind-the-scenes footage on the screen right now. Now, millions of people around the world are going to be tuning in for the live broadcast. What kind of impact do you think we could see, not just on the space industry as a whole, but by sectors that are outside that industry as well?
Okay, first, during the global pandemics now, it's so tough to go around and travel and make sure that your products are developed. And launching a satellite is also a big risk. So having our engineers going there 3 months prior to the launch, it kicked off there, you know. So it's during a very tough time, but we showed that we have commitment and we're ready to launch the satellite. And we don't want to delay it, because launching a satellite to Mars can be done on any day throughout the year. It has to be a specific date for a launch and a specific time. So that's why we made sure that everything went on target. And of course, the excitement, the ground station team at the center, the system engineers, all the team are pretty excited. They're ready for the mission. They're very energetic about it. Everyone has this positive energy going around. Okay, finally we reached this point. Of course, we still have a long milestone to come. We have to wait 7 months, the cruise time for the rocket to reach the MOI, which is the Mars insertion orbit. And after that, we have to wait 2 to 3 months for the probe to enter its scientific orbit. And from there, of course, with time, then we'll probably get the first product off the red planet sometime September 2021. So as you can see, it's a long progress, and we're very excited about it. Everyone's just looking forward for the launch. It's a risky part of the aerospace or satellite development and space sciences, the launch. It's very risky, but we're very positive. Inshallah, everything will go well. And we can finally say that we can really give back to planet Earth, not only to human. Because all the studies, all the research, all the details is coming back to people here, and to make sure we can improve water, plants, and other products on planet Earth that will help people.
Well, it certainly is an incredible achievement. Just over 24 hours to go. We will all be watching live. We have special coverage right here as well. Thank you so much for your time, and best of luck.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Now, the UAE can fulfil its ambitions to build the first human settlement on Mars by 2117 by adopting a systematic approach. As according to a senior scientist at NASA who spoke during a virtual meeting organised by the US Embassy in Abu Dhabi ahead of the Hope probe's launch. Dr. Laurie Glaze, Planetary Science Division Director at NASA, says there's a lot of work to be done before sending people to Mars, but it can be achieved by taking one step at a time. The first step will be to return samples from the red planet to demonstrate that humans can actually go there and come back. Time now for a short break, but do stay with us here on Emirates News. The business is on the way next, and the Minister of State for Advanced Technology says the UAE's historic Mars mission, which lifts off late tomorrow night, will inspire companies of all sizes to take risks. All that and more right after this break. Welcome back to Emirates News. Our top story tonight. The public has been urged to renew their visas and Emirates IDs online instead of in person due to COVID-19. And now it's time for the business news. The UAE's Mars mission will inspire companies of all sizes to take risks and succeed. That's the word from officials involved in the project. Sarah bin Youssef Al Amri, the Minister of State for Advanced Technology and Deputy Project Manager and Science Lead of the UAE's Mars mission, Hope Probe, says this project is 5 times more complex than any other space mission we have undertaken, but says that it will allow the UAE to further develop its skills and overcome any challenges along the way. The minister added that the mission will help strengthen the key parts of the UAE's industrial sector as it transforms into a knowledge-based economy. 11 global startups have been selected for Abu Dhabi's latest Hub 71 incentive program. Those chosen include companies like Arabi, an Emirati app to teach young people how to speak, read and write Arabic, and Bahrain's Taraboot Gateway, the first and largest regulated open banking platform to connect regional banks and fintechs. The program has chosen 60 global SMEs since it was founded just over a year ago, representing more than 30 different nationalities. Those chosen to take part are given free accommodation, office space and health insurance for 2 years for seed companies and 50% subsidies for 3 years for emergent companies. Dubai Investments celebrated its 25th year anniversary today with a special bell-ringing ceremony at the Dubai Financial Market. The company's executive team gathered alongside the chairman of the DFM today to celebrate their silver jubilee. Worth 169 billion dirhams since it first listed, it's made 1.2 million trades of 47 billion shares. Company officials say they plan to invest in youth, artificial intelligence and sustainability in the coming years as part of their future strategy. Livestock and crop production is expected to significantly increase in the UAE this year. The Abu Dhabi Agriculture and Food Safety Authority says they expect local production to ramp up 16% compared to just 6% in 2019. 694,000 tonnes are said to be produced this year, covering animals, fruit and vegetable production. The UAE is trying to secure its food supply by increasing the production of crops and livestock, with the Abu Dhabi-based authority providing close to 640 million dirhams to local breeders, farmers and small-scale producers in the first quarter of this year. The UAE has topped a global list of the most popular holiday destinations for 2021. The index, based on Google search data for 131 nations, has been compiled by the luxury travel firm Coody. It's ranked the UAE as the most searched for vacation spot in 11 countries, adding that each of the 7 Emirates has its own characteristics. The UAE came out on top ahead of Canada and the US and Egypt. According to Google Trends, searches for 2021 holiday have increased by a whopping 124% when compared to the end of March. Travellers flying with Etihad Airways can now take a COVID-19 test in their own homes. The national airline of the UAE has partnered with Mediclinic Middle East to provide PCR tests to passengers. Travellers leaving the UAE do not need to take a COVID-19 test before flying out of the country, but several destinations around the world now require travellers to have negative COVID-19 test results before they fly. These rules do vary by destination, so travellers should check country requirements before booking their flight and plan to take a test if required. All passengers flying to any Etihad destination from Abu Dhabi International Airport can make use of the new at-home testing service. Sport news now, and Manchester City has successfully overturned its 2-year ban from European club competitions. The Court of Arbitration for Sport announced earlier today that the Abu Dhabi-owned club were cleared of disguising equity funds as sponsorship contributions. UEFA issued the ban in February after ruling City had committed serious breaches of financial fair play regulations between 2012 and 2016. City's fine has also been cut from €30 million to €10 million. City has said that the decision was validation of the club's position and the body of evidence that it was able to present. Locally, and more news of appointments ahead of the next Arabian Golf League season. Fujairah have appointed Goran Tafektovic as the new coach, with the hopes of a turnaround in fortunes ahead of the upcoming season, which gets underway on September the 3rd. The Serb replaces former Italian coach Fabio Viviani, who was released after his contract got over at the end of the current season. Tafektovic has the experience of the AGL, as he has served as the head coach of 3 other clubs in the top flight: Khor Fakkan, Baniyas and Etihad Kalbad. The Wolves have also made another overseas acquisition, bringing in Iraqi defender Mohamed Mustafa, who signed on a 2-year contract from Dibba Al Hizn club. Kamaru Usman insists there is no shortage of contenders as he looks ahead after successfully defending his welterweight title against Jorge Masvidal yesterday. The Nigerian-American retained his belt in a unanimous decision in Abu Dhabi. It means Usman remains unbeaten in his UFC career so far, as well as putting him level with UFC champion Khabib Nurmagomedov with 12 consecutive wins. A meeting with Gilbert Burns could still be on the cards after the Brazilian was forced to withdraw from his fight with Usman 6 days before the event having tested positive for coronavirus. Attention now turns to Fight Island's next fight night on Wednesday night. Cricket now, and England lost a gripping first test to West Indies in what was the first international game post-COVID-19. The visitors were helped to a memorable 4-wicket victory by Jermaine Blackwood's magnificent 95. Captain Jason Holder then saw his team over the line with injured opener John Campbell, despite some aggressive bowling from England's Jofra Archer. It means West Indies takes a 1-0 lead and the 3-match series. Joe Root will return to lead England when the second behind closed doors test begins in Manchester on Thursday. And lastly in the sport tonight, Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton cruised to a comfortable victory in the Sreeton Grand Prix yesterday. The world champion's first victory of the year was founded on his superior performance in wet, qualifying the previous day. Hamilton then led from pole position as teammate Valtteri Bottas overtook Red Bull's Max Verstappen late on for second. The Ferraris retired had another day to forget as they were both forced to retire after colliding with each other on lap 1. Our Lane Zoo has witnessed the birth of more than 411 animals in the first half of this year. This comes after several breeding programs were carried out for endangered species living in the zoo. These include the Arabian gazelle, antelopes, birds and reptiles, which were provided with appropriate environments according to their needs. Over the years, Our Lane Zoo has also applied many scientific procedures and methods to help improve the quality of its breeding programs. And finally tonight, news from India, where Bollywood star Aishwarya Rai and her daughter will home quarantine after testing positive for coronavirus. Her actor husband, who also tested positive for the virus, confirmed the news on his official Twitter handle earlier today. This comes after conflicting reports emerged about Aishwarya's health status. The actor added that his father, Amit, who is also COVID-19 positive, will remain in the hospital for treatment. And with that, we end tonight's program. Follow us on @Dubai1TV and @Emirates_news. Remember to join us for our COVID-19 briefs throughout the day, keeping you up to date, as well as our regular 7:30 p.m. bulletin. Emirates News will be back again tomorrow. But for now, from the entire team here at Emirates News, good night and stay safe.